Do you have a dream in your heart? Maybe you want to speak English well. Maybe you want a better job or to feel strong and healthy. A dream is a beautiful destination. But how do you get there? You need a special kind of energy to walk the path every single day. This energy is not magic. It is a skill you can learn. We call this skill self-discipline. Self-discipline is a simple idea, but it is very powerful. It is the ability to do what you need to do, even when you don't want to. It is the choice between something that feels good now and something that is great for your future. Let's imagine a situation. It is evening. You are a little tired from your day at school or work. You have a choice. You can sit on the sofa and watch a fun movie. This would feel very nice right now. Or you can spend 1 hour studying English. This might feel difficult. It is not as fun as the movie, but your big dream is to speak English fluently. So you make a choice. You choose to study. You tell yourself, I will study for 1 hour and then I can relax. This choice is a small act of self-discipline. It is not always easy. The easy choice is often more comfortable in the moment, but the difficult choice is often the one that helps you build a better life. Self-discipline is like a strong bridge. On one side of the bridge is where you are today. On the other side is your goal, your dream. Every time you practice self-discipline, you add another strong piece to that bridge. You are building a path to your own success. It means you are being a kind and responsible friend to the person you will be in the future. To understand self-discipline, we need to talk about something called willpower. Think of willpower as the energy you use to make good choices. It is the fuel for your self-discipline. A very helpful way to think about willpower is to imagine it is a muscle in your body. Let's think about the muscle in your arm. If you use your arm to lift something heavy, your muscle works hard. After you lift it a few times, your arm starts to feel tired. If you lift it many, many times, your muscle becomes very weak and needs to rest. Willpower works in almost the exact same way. Every day, from the moment you wake up, you use your willpower. The alarm clock rings. You have a choice. Should I get up now, or should I press the snooze button and sleep for 10 more minutes? Getting up now uses a little bit of willpower. At breakfast, you have another choice. Should I eat this healthy fruit, or should I eat that sugary donut? Choosing the fruit uses a little more willpower. At work or school, you have to focus on a difficult task. This uses a lot of willpower. You have to be patient with a difficult person. This also uses willpower. Each choice, especially the hard ones, takes some energy from your willpower muscle. Because your willpower gets tired like a muscle, it can run out. Imagine you have a very long and stressful day. You had to make many important decisions. You had to be very focused and polite. You used your willpower all day long. When you finally get home in the evening, you feel exhausted. Your willpower muscle is very, very tired. At that moment, it is extremely difficult to make another hard choice. For example, it is very hard to choose to go for a run. Your brain will want the easiest option. The easiest option is to just sit down, relax, and do nothing that requires effort. This is why many people eat junk food or watch TV for hours after a hard day. It is not because they are lazy people. It is simply because their willpower is empty. It needs time to rest and recover, just like a muscle after a workout at the gym. But here is the most important and wonderful news about a muscle. You can train it. You can make it stronger. If you go to the gym and you want to make your arms stronger, you don't start by lifting the heaviest weight. That would be impossible. You start with a small, light weight. Maybe it feels a little difficult at first, but you lift it every day. After a week or two, you notice something. Lifting that small weight now feels easy. Your muscle has adapted. It has grown stronger. Now you are ready to lift a slightly bigger weight. You continue this process, and over time, your muscle becomes very strong. Willpower is exactly the same. You can train your willpower muscle. You can make it stronger by practicing with small choices every day. You don't have to start with something huge. Start with something very small and manageable. For example, you can make a decision. Today, when I am thirsty, I will drink 1 glass of water before I drink any soda. This is a small, simple choice. But when you make it, you are exercising your willpower. You are doing one small repetition. The next day, you do it again. And the next day. Soon, this choice will feel normal and easy. You have made your willpower muscle a little bit stronger. So please do not feel bad if your self-discipline feels weak today. Everyone starts somewhere. You can begin your training right now with a very small challenge. Day by day, your inner strength will grow. Now you know that you have a muscle called willpower. But a muscle needs a direction. It needs a reason to work. You cannot be disciplined if you do not know what you are being disciplined for. This is why setting goals is one of the most important steps. A goal is your target. It is the what. It is what you want to achieve. Having a very clear goal is like having a bright light shining in the dark. It shows you where to go. When you feel tired, lost, or confused, you can look at your goal. It reminds you why you are making these difficult choices. It gives you a reason to keep moving forward. Often, our biggest dreams are very, very big. A big dream is a beautiful and inspiring thing. For example, a young person might say, "My dream is to become a doctor." Or someone might say, "I want to start my own successful company." These are wonderful, life-changing dreams. However, when a dream is so big, it can also feel scary. It can feel impossible. When a goal feels impossible, it is very difficult to even start. You look up at the giant mountain in front of you and you feel so small. You might think, "I can never climb that." So you don't even take the first step. The secret to climbing a giant mountain is to not look at the top. The secret is to only look at the path right in front of you. The secret is to break down your giant, scary dream into many, many small and friendly goals. A small goal is an action you can do today. It is a single, easy step. Let's use the example of writing a book. I want to write a book is a huge goal. It can feel overwhelming. But what is a small goal you can do today to get closer to that dream? You could set a goal like this. Today, I will sit at my desk and write for just 15 minutes. Or you could say, today my goal is to write 100 words. Can you see the difference? This small goal is not scary. It is clear. It is something you can definitely do. When your goal is small, you don't need a huge amount of willpower to get started. When you set your daily goals, it is very helpful to make them clear and specific. A vague goal like, I want to be healthier, is a nice idea, but it is not a good daily goal because you don't know exactly what to do. A much better goal is, today, I will go for a walk for 20 minutes after lunch. This goal is clear. You can measure it. At the end of the day, you can look back and say, yes, I did it. This feeling of success, even a small success, is very powerful. It releases good chemicals in your brain and makes you feel proud. This feeling gives you energy and makes you want to do it again tomorrow. Also, make sure your small goal is realistic. It should be possible for you to achieve it. If you are just starting to learn a new language, a goal of I will learn 100 new words today is probably too much. You might fail, and then you will feel bad about yourself. A much better goal is, I will learn 5 new words today and I will practice them. This is possible. You can succeed, and that success will build your confidence. And finally, your small daily goal must be relevant. It must be connected to your big dream. Learning 5 new English words today is a clear step on the path to your big dream of speaking English fluently. By taking your big, beautiful dream and cutting it into many small, easy pieces, you make the impossible possible. You create a clear plan for your success. We have talked about the what, your goals. Now, let's talk about the how. How can you perform these small actions every single day, consistently, until they lead you to your big dream? The answer lies in one of the most powerful forces in our lives, the power of habits. A habit is an action that you do automatically, without thinking. You probably have many habits you don't even notice. For example, do you think hard about how to brush your teeth every morning? No, you just do it. It is an automatic routine. You don't have to use your precious willpower to convince yourself to brush your teeth. Our lives are built upon a collection of habits. Some are good for us, and some are bad for us. The real key to long-term self-discipline is to build a system of good habits that help you reach your goals without needing to use willpower all the time. The scientists who study the brain have found that there is a simple pattern behind every habit. They call it the habit loop. This loop has 3 parts. The first part is the cue. The cue is the trigger. It is the signal that tells your brain to start the habit. A cue can be a specific time of day, like 7 o'clock a.m., a place, like your kitchen, a feeling like feeling stressed, or another action you just finished, like finishing your dinner. The second part of the loop is the routine. The routine is the habit itself. It is the action you perform. For example, after you finish dinner, the cue, you immediately go to your desk and study for 30 minutes, the routine. The third and final part of the loop is the reward. The reward is the good feeling or outcome that you get at the end of the routine. The reward is very important because it teaches your brain that this whole loop is a good thing and is worth remembering and repeating. After you study, the reward might be the feeling of pride and accomplishment. You know you are one step closer to your dream. Or the reward could be something more immediate. You could tell yourself, after I finish my 30 minutes of study, I will reward myself by listening to my favorite songs for 10 minutes. So, how can you use this knowledge to build a new, good habit? The most important rule of all is to start small. You must make the new habit so easy that you cannot say no. If you want to start exercising, your goal for the first week should not be go to the gym for 1 hour every day. That is too big. Your goal should be something like, every day at 5 o'clock p.m., I will put on my exercise clothes and my running shoes. That is the entire goal. It might sound silly, but it is incredibly powerful. Why? Because it is so easy that you have no excuse not to do it. Anyone can put on their clothes. Once you have your exercise clothes on, you might naturally feel like going for a short walk. Great. But even if you don't, that's okay. You have still completed your goal for the day. You are building the habit of starting, which is the hardest part. Another very useful technique is to connect your new habit to an existing one. This is sometimes called habit stacking. You already have many strong habits that you do every day without thinking. For example, maybe you make a cup of coffee every morning. This is a strong, existing habit. You can stack your new desired habit on top of it. You can make a rule for yourself. After I pour my morning coffee, I will immediately sit down and read 1 page of my book. In this case, making coffee becomes the cue for your new reading habit. This makes it much easier to remember and to do. And please, do not forget the reward. This is the part that makes a habit stick for the long term. Your brain needs to know that this routine is a good thing. So after you complete your new tiny habit, you must celebrate. This doesn't have to be a big celebration. You can do a small fist pump in the air. You can smile and say yes to yourself. You can simply take a moment to feel proud. This small act of celebration sends a powerful signal to your brain. It says, "Hey, what we just did was good for us. Let's do that again tomorrow." By slowly and patiently building a set of good habits, you put your success on autopilot. You will no longer need to fight a battle with your willpower every day because your positive actions will begin to happen naturally. Now we are going to talk about a secret weapon in the world of self-discipline. It is an idea called delayed gratification. This might sound like a very complex and scientific phrase, but the idea behind it is actually very simple. Delayed gratification means you are willing to wait for a reward. It means you have the strength to say no to a small, immediate pleasure in order to receive a much bigger and better reward later on. This single ability is one of the most powerful predictors of success and happiness in life. Many years ago, some researchers conducted a now famous experiment. It was called the marshmallow test. In this study, a researcher would bring a young child, about 4 or 5 years old, into a room and have them sit at a table. On the table, there was one delicious, fluffy marshmallow. The researcher would then explain the rules to the child. "You can eat this one marshmallow right now if you want to," the researcher would say. "But I have to leave the room for about 15 minutes. If you do not eat this marshmallow while I am away, then when I come back, I will give you a second marshmallow. So you will have 2 marshmallows to enjoy." Then, the researcher would leave the child alone in the room with the single marshmallow. As you can imagine, some of the children ate the marshmallow almost immediately. The temptation was too strong. But other children waited. It was very, very difficult for them. The videos of the experiment show them struggling. They would look at the marshmallow, smell it, touch it. They would try to distract themselves by singing songs, closing their eyes, or hiding under the table. But they managed to wait for the full 15 minutes. When the researcher returned, those patient children were rewarded with 2 marshmallows. But the story doesn't end there. The truly amazing part came years later. The researchers followed up with these children when they were teenagers and adults. They found something remarkable. The children who were able to wait for the second marshmallow were, on average, much more successful in their lives. They had better scores in school, they got into better colleges, they had better jobs, and they were even healthier. Why? It was because they had learned, at a young age, the powerful skill of delayed gratification. They understood that waiting for a better outcome is often the wisest choice. You use this skill in your own life every day, even if you don't realize it. When you decide to save some of your money for a big vacation instead of spending it all on new clothes today, that is delayed gratification. The vacation is the bigger, better reward later. The clothes are the smaller, immediate reward now. When you choose to spend your Friday night studying for an important exam instead of going to a party with friends, that is delayed gratification. Getting a good grade that helps your future is the bigger reward. The party is the smaller reward. Practicing delayed gratification is like taking your willpower muscle to an advanced gym. It trains you to think about the future. It teaches you that the best things in life often require patience and sacrifice. So, the next time you are faced with a choice, think about the marshmallow. Ask yourself this question: is there a bigger, better reward waiting for me if I can be a little patient right now? Learning to wait is not always easy, but it is a superpower. It will help you make wise choices that lead you to your biggest and most meaningful dreams. Let's clarify something important. Many people confuse self-discipline with motivation. They think they are the same thing, but they are very different. Motivation is a feeling. It is the feeling of excitement, passion, and energy that makes you want to do something. Self-discipline, on the other hand, is what you do when that feeling is gone. Think of motivation like the weather. Some days are bright and sunny. On these sunny days, you wake up and feel full of motivation. You are excited to work on your goals. Everything feels easy and possible. But you know that the weather is not always sunny. Some days are cloudy, rainy, and cold. On these days, you wake up and feel tired. You have no energy. You have zero motivation to do anything difficult. If you only work on your goals on the sunny days, you will not get very far. The weather always changes. Motivation is a wonderful feeling, but it is not reliable. It comes and it goes. You cannot build your future on an unstable feeling. This is why self-discipline is actually much more important than motivation. Self-discipline means you show up and do the work even on the rainy days. You do your exercise even when you don't feel like it. You study your English even when you would rather do anything else. You do it because you made a promise to your future self, and you are strong enough to keep that promise. So, what can you do when you wake up and it is a rainy day for your motivation? First, you can remember your why. Take a moment to think about your big dream. Why is this goal so important to you? Maybe you have a picture that represents your goal. Maybe you wrote it down in a journal. Look at it. Connect with that deep reason. Thinking about your why can often create a little bit of sunshine on a cloudy day. Second, make it incredibly easy to start. Use the 2-minute rule that we talked about. Just commit to doing your task for only 2 minutes. Tell yourself, I don't feel like running, but I will just put on my running shoes and stand outside for 2 minutes. Or, I don't want to study, but I will just open my textbook and read one single paragraph. Often, the biggest challenge is just getting started. Once you begin, something magical happens. Action itself can create motivation. After you run for 2 minutes, you might feel, okay, this isn't so bad, and you decide to run for 5 more. After you read one paragraph, you might get interested and decide to read a whole page. Third, share your goal with someone. Find a friend or a family member who supports you. This person can be your personal cheerleader. On a day when you have no motivation, you can send them a quick message saying, I'm really struggling to start today. A few words of encouragement from them can make a huge difference. Finally, you can track your progress. Get a calendar and put a big, satisfying X on every day that you complete your habit. After a few days, you will see a chain of X's. This chain represents your consistency and hard work. You will not want to break the chain. Seeing your progress visually is extremely motivating. It proves to you that your small, daily efforts are adding up to something big. So, the lesson is this: do not wait for motivation to arrive before you take action. Take action, and motivation will often arrive as a result. The path to your dreams is not a straight, easy road. It is a real-life journey, and that means there will be challenges. There will be obstacles. There will be days when you try, and you fail. It is very important to understand that this is a normal and necessary part of the process. Overcoming these challenges is how you truly build your inner strength and character. The most important thing to remember is that one mistake, one slip-up, does not make you a failure. So, what should you do when you miss a day? Maybe you planned to study for an hour, but you got sick. Or you had a family emergency and had no time. Or maybe you just had a really bad day and you gave in to temptation. It happens to everyone. The most powerful rule to follow in this situation is this: never miss twice. Missing your habit one day is an accident. That's life. But missing it 2 days in a row is the beginning of a new bad habit. So, if you miss your habit on a Monday, you must make it your number one priority to get back on track on Tuesday. Even if you can only do a very small version of your habit, do it. If you plan to exercise for 30 minutes, just do 5 minutes. If you plan to write 500 words, just write 50. This small action stops the failure from growing bigger. It sends a powerful message to your brain that you are still the kind of person who is committed to your goal. And please, be kind to yourself. Do not say negative things like, "I am so lazy, I have no discipline." Instead, talk to yourself like a good friend. Say, "I am human. Yesterday was not a good day, but today is a new day, and I am starting again." Another huge obstacle in our modern world is distraction. We live in an environment that is full of things designed to steal our attention. Our phones are constantly buzzing with notifications. The television is always on in the background. The internet offers an endless supply of new videos, news, and messages. These things are not designed to help you achieve your goals. They are designed to keep you clicking and scrolling. To build self-discipline, you must become the boss of your environment and your time. When it is time to work on your important goal, you must create a fortress of focus. Find a quiet space. Put your phone in a different room, or at least turn it completely off. Close all the unnecessary tabs on your computer. Create a bubble of silence and concentration around you. It might only be for 30 or 45 minutes, but during that time, you are fully present with your task. You will be amazed at how much you can accomplish in a short period of focused time compared to 3 hours of distracted time. You can also plan your focus time. Tell your family or the people you live with, from 7 o'clock p.m. to 7:30 p.m., I am going to be studying in my room. I can talk and play after that. When you set clear boundaries like this, two things happen. First, other people learn to respect your important time. Second, you start to take your own goals more seriously. Sometimes the obstacle is not a distraction, but just boredom. Doing the same exact thing every single day can become boring after a while. If you start to feel bored, ask yourself, how can I make this more interesting? If you are learning a language, can you try a new app? Can you find a movie in that language or listen to some music? If your habit is exercise, can you try a new route for your daily walk? Can you listen to an interesting podcast or a new album while you run? You don't have to do the exact same routine every day. You can change the small details to keep it fresh and engaging. The goal is to be consistent with the habit, not to be bored to death. Remember, obstacles are not stop signs. They are simply tests. They are opportunities for you to learn, to adapt, and to prove to yourself how strong you are becoming. In the end, the art of self-discipline is a beautiful journey. It is a journey of 1,000 small steps, not one giant leap. It is not about being a perfect robot who never makes mistakes. It is about being a persistent human who keeps trying. The journey begins with a dream in your heart, a clear and inspiring vision for the person you want to become. You take that big, wonderful dream, and you learn to break it down into small, daily goals that are so easy to do, you can't say no. Then you use the incredible power of habits to make these positive actions automatic. You build a simple loop of a cue, a routine, and a reward, and you watch your consistency grow day by day. You train your willpower muscle with small, good choices, making it stronger over time. You learn to practice delayed gratification, understanding that the best rewards in life often require patience. You learn that you cannot depend on motivation. Instead, you create your own motivation by taking action, especially on the days when it feels hard. And when you face obstacles, when you fall down, you treat yourself with kindness and compassion. You remember the most important rule: never miss twice. You get back up, and you simply take the next small step. Every single choice you make is like a vote for the person you want to be in the future. With every glass of water you drink instead of a sugary soda, you are casting a vote for a healthier you. With every page of a book you read instead of scrolling on your phone, you are casting a vote for a wiser you. With every dollar you decide to save instead of spend on something you don't need, you are casting a vote for a more secure and free you. These small, daily votes might seem insignificant by themselves. They might feel like a single drop of water in a giant ocean, but drop by drop, the ocean is filled. Step by step, the longest and most difficult journey is completed. Your future is not built in one magical day. It is built today, and it will be built again tomorrow. The power to achieve your most amazing goals is not somewhere out there in the world. It is already inside you. It is waiting to be trained, to be guided, and to be used. The journey begins right now with just one small, simple choice. What will your first step be?